Hi all, we meet again, and in this video we are going to simulate working of a DNS and a HTTP server using Packet Tracer. So for our experiment, we take a couple of devices, one on each node. We'll just simulate with one end device, and two servers in two different networks. One is a DNS and the other one is the HTTP. And two switches to connect to the router and a router. So if you could see, it's quite imperative that both these servers are in different networks, and that's how we're going to work. So this one is going to be the HTTP server, and let's say it's got an IP of 168.11.2 something. Right, and this IP is 192.168.11.10. Similarly, we'll configure this to 192.168.10.10 because this one belongs to 10 network and this one is the 11.0 network, and 192.168.10.2. So let's connect this. So it's what it is, to this, over here, and over here. Alright, so now let's configure each of these things. First, let's configure the networks. As I was saying, this one belongs to 192.168.10.0 network, and this one is 192.168.10.11.0 network. So let's configure the routers. Let's configure each of the interfaces. There are two interfaces in this router, fast Ethernet interfaces, to which we are connected to, and let's configure the first one to 10.2 and the second interface to 11.2 respectively. Let's open, and then we'll go to CLI, select no, enable, and let's configure the terminal. So good. Now first let's select the 0/0 interface F0/0, and now we've got to enter the IP address. So IP space ADDR 192.168.10.2 space the default mask, which is 255.255.255.0. And now let's configure the second interface 0/1. Let's configure to 192.168.11.2 and the default mask 5.0. So we've assigned the I'm sorry, I forgot IP DDR 2.168.11.2 255.255.0. So that's done. Then let's restart the router. Now it's up. So this is done. So we've still got 0/0 link down. So let's just turn this thing up. Just turn it on. And yeah, very good. So we've got both the links up. And now let's configure the servers. So this will be our DNS server. So go over here. We don't need HTTP module for this thing now, so just turn it off because it will be defaultly turned on. And our website is www. Let's say we've got Apple, so let's have a banana.com. And then here we'll have to add the IP address of the HTTP server. In this case it's 192.168.11.2, and then we give add. So we've added a DNS record for our domain, and now we have to configure our IP address for this thing, so which is 192.168.10.2, and the subnet mask is automatically populated. The gateway is 192.168.10 dot sorry let's change the IP address of this thing to 10.5, and our gateway will be 192.168.10.2. Let me just check that thing. Yeah, it's 10.2, and this is the DNS server, so it's okay, no problem, just ignore that thing. And one more thing, we have to turn the DNS thing on. If it's off, then you will have this error, host not reachable. So now we've configured this thing, so let's configure our end device. Desktop IP 192.168.10.10. The default gateway is 192.168.10.2. The DNS server is 192.168.10.5. So that is done. So let's see if we can ping these two. Yep, we got it. So let's ping the router from here, see if our configuration is correct. Well, again, it's good. So far so good. So our HTTP server, as I told you earlier, the HTTP thing is on by default, and rest parameters are all off. So there's nothing much to do here but just to configure the IP for this. So which is 192.168.11.5. So that mask is this, and 192.168.11.2. Default gateway is nothing but the exit point for any of the devices within the network. In this case, the exit point for the 11.0 network is this interface, whose IP is 11.2, and exit point for this devices, exit point for the devices in this network is this interface, this green blinky thing, FA00, whose IP is 10.2. So yes, in this case we've configured the default gateway, and then we enter the DNS IP, 68.10.2. I'm sorry, 5. Let's just change this thing to 5. So let's see, it's up, it's 10.5. This is up as well, it's 11.5. This one is not configured yet. Good. So it's 192.168.11.10, 192.168.11.2, 92.168.10.5. So that is done. So let's ping each devices and see if it's successful. So the first one we get failed because the router will have to update its IP tables. So when you when you enter the second time, it will be successful. So let's try for this device. As I told you, it's failed because the router has to update its IP tables. So the second time you do it, it's successful. So similarly, let's try once again. Success, success, success. So our hosts are all reachable from any given point of the network. So now let's try to reach our domain through the web browser, so which is banana.com, right? Banana.com. Server reset connection. Let me just check on that thing for you. Just a minute. So yeah, earlier the host was not reachable because we've configured the IP in the DNS server. We've resolved the IP with the wrong one. So we go to DNS, instead of 11.5 we gave 11.2. So it's my bad. So just change the record, give save. So it's saved, and now let's try it again. There, www.banana.com. So yeah, you can see that the contents in that particular domain is activated. So let's try from this network, see if it's if we can reach the DNS servers in the other network. .banana.com. So we could see that it is able to reach, and it's able to resolve, and it's able to point out to the server hosting that particular web service. So that's about it. So thank you. Hope it was informative.